Welcome all to Let's Get It, where we attack today's local and national hottest sports topics. I'm your host, Randy Dutkin, and let's get after it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Get It. I'm your host, Randy Dutkin, along with my co-host and producer, Jason Bryce, and always Coach Marcus Bullock. We're coming to you on a Sunday night, beautiful Sunday night. We got a big game ahead of us, the Eagles and the Seahawks. We'll get into that. We got a lot of discussion about the coronavirus and college basketball starting up, college football, a little bit of everything. But as I always start off, I check in with my co-hosts and producers. So, Coach, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, man. It was a good Thanksgiving with the family, laid back, which is the way I like to do things. I put some Christmas lights up outside my house today.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done that in some years, but my daughter was kind of pressuring me. Whatever the daughters want, they get.
It's good, Dad.
That's kind of where we're at. But all is good, man. Back to school tomorrow, which I'm surprised about, but that's where we're at.
Okay, all right. And Jay, how are you, sir?
Hey, listen, I'm doing real well, man. Thanksgiving was good. Kind of laid back. Hey, listen, man. I thank God that we served the homeless 4 walls.
Okay.
And I tell you, I thank God that I was so pissed off the night before because I'm like, oh man, I'm about to be doing this in the rain.
Right.
That's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? But yo, didn't that rain go away? It was like a nice day,
nice
right?
day.
Like it was almost 70.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's one of those, and that's awesome things you guys do,
Yeah.
and I just think this time of year, and for all of us listening, we sit here, we're lucky, for a lot of us, our biggest debate is do we go and get the shrimp cocktail or no to have the Thanksgiving?
Right.
And other people are like, where am I going to be able to get a scrap of turkey?
Right.
So you're very lucky and very fortunate to be in that position where you can help others.
Absolutely.
Come home, have a meal, especially now with everything going on, and as you get older, you really do become a lot more thankful for the things that you have and the little things.
I tell you, I actually, I think this is the second year we did it. So the previous year I might have had a little turkey, but I actually ate what I cooked. What I cooked, I gave to them. I think almost close to like 45 meals, but I actually took one of the meals and ate. That was my Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? So we did
You
that.
didn't taste test it first?
I taste test a little bit,
Good.
but I'll be honest with you, I was so annoyed the day before because I'm like, oh man, it's an 80% chance it's gonna rain.
Yeah.
I was like frustrated, man, and but it worked out, man. I'm a little sore, I'll be honest with you, because I don't exercise every day, and I did all them leaves in that backyard.
Oh, so you know what?
Okay.
The shoulder,
You know
the traps.
Yo, listen,
The
man.
lower back.
The lower back, oh man, yo, you know what I mean? But it got done, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, you know what I mean? It was a good week though, man. It's funny that you mentioned about the Christmas lights though. My kids want to do it, but I was looking for a service. You actually did it yourself.
Come on, man.
They got like services out here that do that
No,
stuff.
they do. I did.
That's a violation.
I don't want to say the bare minimum.
That's a violation. As they say online, that's a violation.
I know. I
That's
should get my Clark Griswold on,
There you
right?
go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Man, a service.
My grandfather, rest in peace. He used to sometimes do it, but he do it from the inside. And then next thing you know, it have scotch tape all over the windows. And I'm like, nah, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? But the service will come, light it up, and take it away when it's time.
Listen, I get it, but man, like I said, I think that's a violation. I mean, you
Okay.
gotta get into the spirit.
I'm into the
I
spirit
mean,
this
listen,
year.
you know the Hanukkah spirit, the Christmas spirit.
I'm in the
I got
spirit.
the Hanukkah lights at the house.
Oh,
I got a
okay.
Hanukkah tree.
Yeah,
Hanukkah tree.
But in fairness, though, and I'm just being honest, though, your lights are it's just a couple of lights.
That's it,
Right?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
I mean, you could do that.
You don't need no service for them lights.
Listen, you could do that. You could just string something outside here.
Okay.
Very simple.
Okay.
I have faith in you.
What's a Hanukkah trick?
Well, it's something I kind of created.
Oh.
I got
Oh.
I got one of those. It's the white trees that they sell at the store, and I got the blue garland and the silver balls and the white lights, and
Oh.
Okay.
I created it. I created it.
Got it.
Creativity.
You know.
That's
You
what's
know.
up, man. But doing well, though, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. So, Alexa, but like I said, next week I want to hear, and our listeners want to hear that you did this on your own.
You know what? Listen, I told my daughters, I said we should get some lights. I'm in the mood for it, right? And she said, yeah, I saved all my money up, and I'm like, okay, well, she probably say like $5, whatever. She's like, because that's enough. That's a lot for a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Grinch.
No, but I'll be honest with you. She said she got like $70 towards the light. I said, oh, $70. I said,
Well, then we're
good to go. We're gonna get some good lights. You know what I'm saying? We might instead of going to Dollar Tree, we go to Dollar General now. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Nah, but it's all good though. I'm in the spirit though. So that's the thing.
You know what it is? I think, and it's interesting. I think a lot of people this year are getting more into the spirit because there hasn't been a lot to be excited about in general.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot to be like, motivated about. But
Sure.
you're like, I can be in my house, I can have my trees, I can have my lights. I know a lot of people are like, screw it, forget. Apparently December 1st is the unofficial time to put up the Christmas lights.
Is it?
I mean, that's what the people say. Don't put it up before, or at least after Thanksgiving.
I know people that put up Christmas trees around Halloween. And I thought that was a little. I thought that
come down.
Right. As soon as the pumpkin came down, right.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's real early though. But hey, listen, it's all good, man.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, like I say, we're trying to stay positive during a tough time when we are still dealing with coronavirus and it's hitting all of our sports even more than it was before, and we're just seeing things push through. The first thing that I want to address right now is the way that the coronavirus has impacted the NFL. And first of all, this is a shame on the NFL because the way that they're handling of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos games were a disgrace. So for those of us who may not know, the Denver Broncos had a player test positive and had all three of their eligible quarterbacks deemed high risk, literally had to play their game today against the Saints without even a quarterback on their roster. Yet the Pittsburgh Steelers had their game pushed back not just from Thursday to Sunday to then Tuesday. So their game against the Baltimore Ravens was, basically a primetime game on their own. But you know what? The thing about the NFL, and this is what bothers me, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts about this, is that, and I understand there's certain teams they want, and they want teams to get in, but this is not even about player safety anymore. And that's what bothers me. This is really about fulfilling their agenda. And I understand it's a business, and I understand they have things to do, but the fact that they made these Broncos go out and basically put players in a position where they're going to get hurt, because you got guys playing at quarterback who hadn't played quarterback since Pee Wee in high school, maybe a snap or two in college. Seriously, though, it's like they were just pulling guys up. At one point, the Broncos even petitioned to the NFL to allow their positions coach to be able to be eligible today because he knew the playbook better than anybody else. Wow. So, and then you go and you have the Steelers and Ravens, on Tuesday night, you have two big teams from the AFC North. You got Lamar Jackson, you got Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know, Coach, what's your thoughts on this situation?
No, I agree with you. I was shocked when I heard about Denver, and that they were going to have to play. I was like, oh, that game's going to get pushed back. But I think it's like the NFL just has to, and it's like what we've talked about before is what are your rules? Like, how are you handling this? Like, what's the plan? So it can't be if every team would have just had to next man up and play, and then Denver had to do it. It is what it is.
Right.
But when you have all these teams, like, okay, Lamar Jackson's out, so let's try to push this back, and maybe he'll be able to play against the Steelers. Then we'll have a better game. But Denver, we don't really care about y'all. You guys aren't attracting anything, so you guys just play. And it seems like the teams that are a draw, I guess you can say, are getting more chances, meaning we'll push these games back.
More preference.
Right. The Patriots got pushed back earlier in the season. Now Baltimore, Pittsburgh, big game, conference rivals, going to be a great game.
Yeah. Let's
push that back, and hopefully these guys can play. So I don't know. It's not fair in a way that, and life's not fair. I get that, but this can be controlled. Where if we just set out the standards, here's the rules, here's how we're going to go.
Right. If
guys test positive, then we're going to play, or we're going to push it back. Whatever you're going to do, you just got to do it.
Right.
You can't just be picking and choosing, because then that takes away from the integrity of the game and of your season.
It does.
When people are being put in different situations.
Right. Or even if they allowed them to, because all their quarterbacks, for Denver, had caught the COVID.
So I think the starting quarterback tested positive, but the other 3, the 2 that are on the roster, I think the one that's on like the practice squad.
Oh, they all around each other, right?
So they're in their meetings
So they were
together
deemed high
and all
risk.
that.
right. So they gotta.
Yeah.
Wow. So it didn't even matter, even if they, it didn't matter. It was going to be what it's going to be. But I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it just reminds us, or a reminder for us that, hey, listen, it's a business.
Well,
It's
and
a-
that's,
it's
that's
a-
what
it's
I
a
said. It
business,
is a
you know what I
business,
mean?
but it's a business until somebody dies. And I want to get into another part of that. But to me, it's just like there really is no edge. Just like you said, there needed, and this is from the start. There should have been a standard of if a player tests positive, you have X number of days in which you have to wait.
Right.
This player can't. You have to wait. But it was just kind of, to me, it's okay. Well, what fits the agenda? How's this going to impact our finances? How's it going to impact our income? And once again, it's not going to matter until, unfortunately we're going to have, guys getting sick and outbreaks and things like that. And it's just frustrating. So like, shame on you, NFL, for the way that you're handling this. And their goal is to just push through. And it's not like the Broncos were 0-10. The Broncos
Right.
were 4-6. I mean, they were technically still in the playoff race.
Right.
Now with this loss, they're not going to be. And,
So they lost already, or?
They're down
I mean,
24-3.
Oh, well, wow. Yeah, wow.
I watched a brief few minutes of the game, and the guy, give him credit. His name was Kenny Hilton, coming out. It was Wake Forest. He was the quarterback, or he was the guy playing quarterback for the Broncos.
Okay.
But he was doing the best he could. But listen,
They need, you know what they need? They need a Ben DiNucci.
they didn't have Ben DiNucci.
It wouldn't even matter, would it?
Wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't
No.
matter.
You know what? You know what's interesting? This is, I think, another situation where the NBA kind of handled things right, because what they did when they went to the bubble was they extended the rosters. So each team was allowed 2 or 3 extra guys on their roster that I think weren't active unless someone tested positive.
And they were putting their own air.
But to your point, because that's the point I was actually about to make. But it wouldn't have mattered though, because they would have still been, them quarterbacks would have still been in that room,
Well,
right?
Right.
But
That's
it could have
what I
been, well, you know what you could have done though is you could have said, okay, Joe Smith, you're our emergency quarterback. You'll be in these meetings, but you're not at the facility with the team.
Oh, maybe that. Yeah,
Like
maybe
Josh
a
for
live stream
instance,
or
Josh
something.
McCown
Okay.
at one point was signed, and literally he was an emergency quarterback. I'm not sure. I want to say it was for the Texans.
Okay.
And it was like
Yeah,
you
it
just
was, yeah.
and you just be home, and if we need you, we'll call you.
We'll call you.
And that's
Okay.
or allow the Broncos to, okay, listen, you got 2 days. You don't have a quarterback. You can sign.
Just
somebody.
sign somebody.
Okay, that's what that makes
and
You
sense.
know what I mean?
And
Something
that's
like
what,
that.
well, and that's the thing. But it's interesting because they had rules in place for the virus of, well, no, you can't just sign somebody. They have to be 3
Right.
clear tests or whatever it may
Right,
have been.
right.
And it was like, it was just frustrating because I just think that this could have been handled better. Again, I understand the agenda needs to be addressed, and that the NFL wants to have its market teams, because at the end of the day, the NFL wants to have a playoff with the top teams in it. They want the Steelers, they want the Chiefs, they want the Packers. They
Right.
want the big teams in it.
Right.
But again, and I think that this.
Man, it's a hell of a game, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like,
Well, it's
like
a great
that,
game.
that Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Like, I'm definitely tuned in.
Well, also
on
it
Tuesday.
is.
But Lamar's still not playing, so are you still gonna?
Oh, he's not?
No. So it's like, what did you?
Oh, he's not playing. Oh, then.
So
Oh.
what? We might as well just sit already.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, who's
You know
the
what I mean?
quarterback gonna play? now?
Exactly. I don't even know who it is, but.
Oh,
Actually, for the backup.
Is it RG3?
oh,
It's
RG.
RG3.
Okay,
It is. Because Lamar's my fantasy quarterback.
okay.
And I was thinking, who am I gonna pick up?
Yeah, but
I
I mean,
didn't-
but still,
I
it's
didn't-
not.
I'm rooting for RG3.
Yeah, it's
I
still.
didn't pick him up.
Yeah, it's still not the it's been ruined. Yeah, that
No, it has.
Yeah.
It has. And it just kind of goes into the same account too of what happens when in the playoffs or things come around, or what happens then. Because I'm looking now even like, and I transition it to like college football where now you're getting situations where teams games were canceled, big time teams like Ohio State's game was canceled this week, and now Ohio State is in a risk of not playing the minimum number of games to get to the Big Ten championship. And Ohio State is a kind of team that now college football that has their own agenda. They want them to be in the Final Four playoff. But now if you sit there and they haven't qualified, do they make exceptions to the rules for them? What do they do? So I think, and again, it's on the fly situations where people are just still trying to get their agendas met during a very difficult and challenging time.
For sure. It's one of those things where if the standards are just set at the beginning, then there's no question in it. But as you start, making up rules as we go, and I get it. This is a crazy year, and things are going to happen that you didn't plan for. But I think if you just stick to a certain set of guidelines, then there's no problems. Because now even you have the Steelers now who are this is I think their second or third game that's been moved, and they're like, yo, we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing. We don't have any issues, but we keep getting the short end of the stick. But our games being moved, like. At some point, like
they were feeling some type of way about it.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing though too. When we go back to the Steelers game, they had 19 players or coaches, personnel, will say test positive. So
Steelers?
Yeah, 19.
No,
you mean the Baltimore?
Okay, it was Baltimore.
Yeah.
And
that almost seems a little egregious, right? A little bit. I mean, because it's hard to say. Oh, well, are they being irresponsible? And that's the thing. That's the tough thing to it's subjective. If somebody is being, negligent or if they're being responsible, because really you could be responsible and still catch it.
well,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
you're around your teammates, and
You just don't know.
You're masking up. You're, whatever you're doing, whatever. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think that. It's just an ongoing thing. It's not gonna. It's with the increasing in cases and increase in situations all over the country. We're just gonna continue to run into more and more of these issues with professional college sports, youth sports, whatever it may be.
Right.
And
the thing about it is that unfortunately, maybe I'm a little selfish with this ideology, but sometimes you gotta have like these type of things happen for now the people that come after to maybe get it right. So we're entering the real, well, I'll say my real excitement about sports coming up. Starting, is it tomorrow or Tuesday? When does training camp start for the NBA? December 1st, right?
yeah,
Right.
Yep.
So this gives the NBA some time to maybe, adjust and make some parameters or make some provisions so that they're not having the same problem.
Well,
That's what I'm hoping.
Because
I don't want nothing interfering with them Christmas games.
No, because
Okay? The Christmas games have to happen
12:30 to
all day,
12:30.
right? And not even just that, but I mean, even that we got the Sixers Boston. Is that the 11th or something like that, or a little exhibition game, preseason? Like, come on, I'm excited.
Listen, I know.
Basketball right around the corner. Oh, I'm excited right now. You know what I mean? So, please, let's NBA, look and see what the NFL is doing wrong, and then build upon that. Please.
Well, and I think all the sports need to, and I mean, we're later on in the show in our next segment we're going to be having Coach Shane Cleveland, who is a coach at Division III Engelman College.
Okay.
So Earlham College. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, and Coach knows him well. He's going to join us in the next segment. I kind of want to get his thoughts on what the college basketball should do. I know that like Jay Wright has some thoughts that the Big East already needs to look into doing like a Bubbleville, some kind of thing for the tournament. So we'll see what happens. I think that what this is doing for a lot of the sports like basketball, like college basketball, is saying, okay, this is kind of what we can do, what we can't do, what we should do.
Right.
So it's given a kind of that example. And I think, look, everyone noted. Hockey did it well, and the NBA did it well.
Yeah.
And they were able to have a pretty successful run.
I think baseball did something. Baseball had some bumps and bruises.
They did.
But they were okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you saw something outbreak in the beginning. But that they tightened up.
And I think that's the problem with the NFL right now is baseball had it at the beginning, and then whatever they did, we never really figured out what they did and what rules
they did. Something.
They just told the rules to shut up.
Right. There wasn't any more problems. With the NFL, it's like it's ongoing.
It's an ongoing problem.
It's so I don't know.
Like and do they even know like how it happened? Like was it a player that brought it in, or a staffer, or was they out at them? Because Baltimore got
chicken wings.
Baltimore got a lot of nice spots down there.
Well, Baltimore in general, because I have a buddy who lives down there. Mm-hmm. Baltimore in general is an extreme hot spot. Extreme hot spot. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's inevitable. It's just kind of like the coach could have stopped for a coffee at the 7-Eleven for going to the facility and contracted it. You know, but he
Right.
could have had his mask on. He could have
Right.
washed his hands, and you
Right.
never know. You know, we'll see. You know,
Which is alarming because I'm wondering how do you still get it if you got your mask on and you washing your hands
you can
and
absolutely contract
and
it.
you're still distant.
You can
Like, how do you
absolutely
still get
contract
it? You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing that's alarming. It's a little
because
scary.
the problem too is people forget. Like, and I mean, we're all guilty of it. Like you know, might be somewhere, you have your mask on, but then then like you're like, oh, I got a little rich under my mask, and you touch your face, or you do that, and like you may have your mask on, and you can get it.
Yeah, no, that's not happening over here.
Oh,
I don't know
listen,
about
I
you.
will guarantee.
Shit,
You
know what
walk
I'm saying?
around all day.
I got a big 80-ounce bottle of sanitizer.
He walks around with it.
That's right.
But
Coach,
here's,
no.
but here's the thing, though. But here's
That's
the
right.
thing.
You know what I mean? Now I will say that, you know, I guess, you know, listen, now where I start slipping is if I have a cocktail. And
Oh,
that's
well.
probably what's happening. Because I'll start slipping a little bit with a cocktail.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I'll admit
that.
that.
You're the reason that everything got shut down in Philadelphia. You know.
Hey, listen,
I
I'll
mean,
be honest. But I can self-correct though. But I can tell you,
He self-corrects after
I
touching
self-correct
his face.
because I'll be like, damn, you know
Gets
what?
the
Damn,
sanitizer
I'm
right
talking,
there.
I'm talking too much, and I ain't got my mask
Oh,
on.
shout out
I'm not
tequila.
this,
Oh,
this,
shout
yeah.
out Purell.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but I self-correct though. But hey, listen, they shutting that stuff down anyway, so you can't go nowhere.
No, I mean they are. You know, and you know, with we'll see what happens, and
Yeah.
you know, look, but nothing's affected the upcoming game tomorrow night between the Eagles and the Seahawks.
Oh yeah,
I wish
yeah.
they pushed
I'm
that
telling you, I wish they
Yeah.
would because I'm excited for tomorrow night. Listen, as you guys may see here, I don't, get it up here. I got my love for number 11 tonight. I got my love out. Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I see you guys see this.
You both are going to be watching the game tomorrow.
Listen,
You ain't lying about that.
Carson.
Right.
I know that it's been tough for you, man, but I will let you know that I'm here for you.
See, but that's the problem. See, that's the problem, Coach. Go ahead, man.
Just DM him.
Listen, I will. I will. Listen, Coach. Listen, I will.
That's the problem.
Listen, Carson, I have not, and this is I feel like I might have a little bit of something to do with his, because I haven't worn the jersey yet this year. And I'm going tomorrow night, when Carson suits up, so am I.
Now here's
So,
what I will
I'm
say.
gonna let you know I'm with you tomorrow night.
On a serious note, I believe Seattle's defense is one of the worst against the pass in the league.
They are. They are.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, if Carson cannot succeed against this defense, now what?
Well, here's the thing. I think that tomorrow night is the first night that we're going to see, I don't want to say this word,
Go ahead,
the
just say it.
controversy be ignited. I'm going to word it like that. Because I think tomorrow night that, and especially it came out earlier today from reliable sources, Tim McManus and, well-known Adam Scheffler put it out there that it was heard that Jalen Hurts has been taking more reps with the first team in practice, and I think Carson's leash is very, very short tomorrow
I
night.
think you have to sit him down, okay? You have to stop babying him. You know what? I'm a big Godfather fan. I don't know. You guys Godfather fans?
I've seen it.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
I'm a big Godfather fan. So I almost think that what Carson needs is what Johnny Fontaine got. I don't know if you remember that part with Johnny Fontaine. He said, oh Godfather, I don't know what to do. And he slapped the living mess out of him and told him, stand up and be a man. That's Carson's problem. You guys are coddling him too much.
What's that word?
Coddling
Oh,
him
okay.
too much.
Okay.
He needs to get off the nipple. He needs to get off the milk. You know what I'm saying? He's on breast milk. Okay? He has to get off that. Okay? That's the problem, though. Seriously. And the thing about it is that I think Peterson wants to get, because I've been doing a little research on this. I think Peterson wants to get at him and do that, but I understand that he's Laurie's guy. He's Jeffrey Laurie's guy.
No,
and he's
okay.
walking
No,
around.
first of all-
Oh, wait, I'm just telling you what
Go
my
ahead.
research is
Okay,
talking about.
go
It
ahead.
says, show me that Jeffrey Laurie is the one that's really big on Carson like that.
Jeffrey Lurie, if you ask me, and I'm going to get your thoughts, Coach. If you ask me, Jeffrey Lurie is a businessman. Jeffrey Lurie is worried about the end of the day, the green or the red.
But he seems to have a relationship with Carson almost like Jerry Jones had with Tony Romo.
No, because I don't think that. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think that at the end of the day, I think that Jeffrey is not as hands-on. Like Jerry Jones, he's like on the
He's
sideline
on-
of every
yeah,
practice, looking down on his team. But I think that, look, I think that tomorrow night, I'm going to say a series or two, maybe a half, but if Carson comes out struggling, I think you're going to see Jalen Hurts get his shot. I'm not saying it's going to be, we're going to Jalen Hurts for good now, but I think tomorrow night he's going to get his chance and say, you're going to get a series, 2 series. What can you do? Because Carson, you're not cutting it anymore.
He's been not cutting it. You know what I'm saying? But it's interesting though. I'm glad that they're at least actually moving in that direction.
Why are you glad that they're moving in that direction?
Well, because I have Eagles fans that I consider good friends. I mean, even yourself. Look at you. I mean, you got his jersey.
Right.
You carry his jersey like it's Mojo.
Yeah.
You need to sit his behind down,
No,
bro.
you
He
know.
needs to sit down.
Listen, what really bothers me too is I went out, as you can see, this is legit. I don't buy a lot of full-priced items.
Oh, you went to
You got the Nike
Oh,
Air?
No,
damn.
this was
I
legit.
thought, man, you went to like Modell's or Marshalls or
This
something.
is not
and
the
caught that.
Walmart version. This is
Oh.
the real version. I
Oh.
bought this 3 years ago when I went out to Seattle. Before I went out to Seattle to see him play, I said I got to be geared up properly. So I got the legit jersey and whatnot. So now, you know what? And listen. If I spend that kind of money and I can't wear it, what am I going to do with it? Carson's going to get another DM with a receipt.
Here we go.
I know is listen. I think it might help him though. Seriously, honestly. Coach,
needs the
coach,
pressure. He needs the
coach,
pressure.
you've coached for years.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on a call with a coach. You know what I'm saying? If a player's not performing, you have to do something to get out. I mean, listen, you gave him that money now, okay? And as a matter of fact, that was some talk that we was talking about. I kind of chimed in on it too. That I think, and shout out Ibn Muhammad. He was saying that anybody that what did he say? Anybody that with that type that line or whatever. But you made a good point, and I kind of piggied off of that. Like, yo, listen, you paid $100 and something million, okay? I'm paying you because things may not be perfect conditions. You still have to be able to perform.
And things aren't perfect conditions because we're paying you.
Because hello,
Because
thank
we
you.
also
Great point.
we can't
Great
pay
point.
everybody.
Right.
Great point.
But that's a lot of the teams in the league. But once that quarterback gets paid, they kind of take a step back.
And that's why that window of that rookie contract is so key in the NFL, because you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, and when he was, and that was it was an amazing thing. But he was under that rookie contract. The organization, again, this is an organizational thing with the fact that not putting around the success around him.
Right.
And also, what was there, again, it's like they go and they had Lane Johnson, you can't help what happened to him, his injury. But like Jason Peters hasn't been able to produce, which we knew wasn't going to happen, but they caved in and gave him money and brought him back. We've talked about this on other shows.
Right.
But it's that's why it's so key that you need to be able to figure out what's going on with your franchise when you have that quarterback on a rookie deal, and so that you can maximize the money in other places.
Right.
Like I said, the Chiefs did it. They signed defensive players, they signed offensive players, and they were able to win their Super Bowl. They cashed in.
Right.
But
I just think that Carson benefited from a good old boy relationship with Jeffrey Lurie, okay? Because he did not deserve, he didn't earn that contract. He got that contract based on potential, okay? Based on a potential or what he could possibly
But he
give
did,
us.
and we talk about it
No,
every
he did
show.
not earn that.
No, he did get it on potential.
On potential.
But we always talk about too that he got it because the Eagles had no choice but to give him that contract.
No, you had a choice.
No, they
you
didn't, because they go back to the fact that they
they gave
invested and mortgaged the future. That you couldn't say we're going to mortgage the future and then we're not going to invest in it. That's
Okay.
like spending 5 years with a girl and then she said, well, when do we get married? And it's like, nah, I had no intentions on that.
Okay.
And it's
I
like,
get
oh,
it.
everyone's going to be pissed.
I don't think it's anything.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
it's
you
no
know.
different, but I get
I
what
know
you're
what
saying.
you're
You know what I'm
I
saying?
get what you're saying, bro.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But I just think, I hear you. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just think that, when he, had his claim to fame that got him $100-something million, I just think other quarterbacks have shown more longevity and have been paid less or have not even gotten an opportunity. Like Dak Prescott. He's done more.
No, he hasn't. Shut up.
He's done
No, he hasn't.
more. He hasn't done more than Carson?
No.
What the hell did Carson do?
No,
Dak ain't won jack.
Dak has won 0 big games.
He's won no playoff games?
No,
Dak ain't win no playoff games?
not yet. No,
Dallas hasn't won not one playoff game with Dak.
no,
I thought they did, though.
no. They didn't.
They did not.
I don't think
I
they.
thought they did.
They have not won a playoff game with Dak, and that's why.
Somebody said they haven't advanced past the first round, and
No, they haven't even won anything with
They haven't
Dak.
won nothing.
They haven't even been in the. They haven't even gotten there. I mean, the Eagles have won the division.
I need my Cowboy
No,
fans to speak
no, the
right
Dak-
now.
I know they got there. I know
Cowboy
they
fans,
got there.
are we correct out here? I don't know why I thought
No,
Dak
but
won something.
They did. They won a division, but they did not get past the first round.
No, he didn't. Okay.
won a
And
division.
Carson won. He's 1-1,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that was last year,
Yeah.
right?
Dak has one playoff.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
But here's the
they're
thing, though.
the same.
He's
Again.
1-2.
He's 1-2.
Okay.
Now, and I want to bring up the Nicky Foles. I know that makes you upset or whatever, but I'm being honest. Like,
What
yo,
I'm talking
Nicky
about- go ahead,
Nicky
go
Foles with Philly was phenomenal. Now, he was garbage. You're right. He was garbage everywhere else, but with Philly, I think they said he was like 26-12 or something like that.
No, he was.
He was-
What
he
you're
had-
talking about is 27-2 was when he had an amazing year that he set the that he had throw a 6 touchdown game against the Raiders, who are videographers.
Who was he playing for?
He was playing for the Eagles.
Okay. I'm
But
just saying.
again, you can't. Again, we go back to it every time. Nick Foles was not the answer. I thank you, Nick Foles, for what you did.
He
But
was
Nick
the
Foles is a bad quarterback.
That's terrible.
He's a bad quarterback.
Brought you a
Who
championship.
he did.
Terrible.
He did. But once again, we don't get there without Carson. And I'm going to tell you this to this day. I will take it to my grave that we don't win the Super Bowl without what Carson did for us.
But everybody is 0-0 going into the playoffs.
You're right.
Everybody's even 0-0. It's not about regular season.
Listen,
We got a lot of
Nicky-
regular
Nicky-
season stars, but when it comes to playoff time, everybody's even.
Right. And Nicky, look, we had this conversation many times. Nicky had the Super Bowl that he could only dreamed of.
Super Bowl playing Meek Mills in the locker room.
Yeah.
He had them boys ready to go.
No. You know, no.
He had it ready to go, son.
You
Come
know
on,
he
man.
was not the one.
Come
No,
on,
he
man.
was not the leader of that.
Nick was in there going, "We need to listen to Christian.
No,
Bale.
no,
Let's
no.
go. How we
No,
doing?"
no.
Nicky Foles cannot take credit.
No.
What,
For,
he-
Malcolm
for the
Jenkins-
team, for the team
Camaraderie.
culture
Yes.
that season.
That was
He's
Malcolm
part of it,
Jenkins.
though.
No, but
He's a
that
big
was-
part of it,
that
though.
was Malcolm Jenkins.
Wait, you
that
think
was
that
Fletcher
he
Cox.
he was a big part of that? A big part of that.
No, but I'm pretty sure there was a lot of times that whole culture, and you talk about getting everyone hyped up. That was Malcolm Jenkins.
That was there all
Malcolm Jenkins.
season. That was the whole season. It wasn't, and there's
No, because Nick's not like, oh, we gotta put on the new Big
No,
Mills.
he was part of it though. He was part of it, man.
I think they rallied around him
Yes.
because the backup quarterback thing. I think they rallied around.
They liked him better than Carson, I think.
That could be true, but
They
I'm
liked
saying,
him better.
but he wasn't the reason that culture in that team, which was phenomenal, was like that. I don't think he's not the reason.
See, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like my man Greg, who's watching with us, we appreciate you, Greg, interacting with us on the show, and he's exactly what he said. I'm gonna quote, and he said, "That's the truth right there. We never would have won the Super Bowl that season without Carson, who was going to be the MVP that season." And that is the thought.
I don't
of many
know.
Eagles
That's the
fans.
thing. I don't know how you pay somebody on what they might have did.
You
Like
already said it.
he was going to
No,
be.
we already said
It's
it.
already it's the
No,
potential.
we already talked about it too. You couldn't justify to your fans giving up. We're talking about mortgaging the future.
But why did you have to? Did you had to give him that deal that year? You had to.
No. They
No.
did it. They
It
did
would've-
it
it would've
again.
cost
They did
more.
it because you remember how much they just paid Patrick Mahomes? Dak Prescott just got $40+ million this year.
Okay.
Okay, for a 1-year deal.
Bruh.
Okay, Carson got $140 million over the course of 5 years. So you're talking an average annual salary is way under what he would have gotten if you waited to pay him. So you paid him there financially. Howie Rose made the right decision by giving him the contract early, and he also did. Like I said, after next year they can get out of the contract, but you're looking at an average salary.
After next year, right?
Yeah, but you're looking at an average salary under $30 million when every other top tier quarterback in the league is making 35 to 40, if
Dak's
not
trying to
$50
get
million.
40.
So they had to do it. But look, we will see what happens tomorrow night. We're going to run to a quick commercial break in just a moment.
And if you don't mind, man, I just want to say, listen, all the kids out there that you're dreaming about playing football, you're doing all these different things. Listen, go out there, play football, and get the team off to a good start. I promise you, you're going to get 130, 40 million too, okay? So keep going out there.
No.
Based on potential. Just on potential. You're going to get that 140 million.
We'll get
Just
back
make
to
sure you look good, and people will say, you know what? You could possibly bring us to, if we don't get there without Carson. What do you mean you don't get there without Carson? Yeah, okay, he played well. He did his thing. But when the playoffs start, 0-0. Everything's even. Somebody has to go out there and perform. Nicky Foles got it done. He got it done. Right. And we got a bad rap, and you shipped his ass about
Carson
disrespected.
Carson got him to 1-0 because they got the bye.
Correct.
Okay,
So
they got the
they
bye.
were 1-0.
Okay,
Correct.
that's true. That's true. Well, when did Carson get hurt, though?
Oh, Carson got hurt in week 15 because he was 11-3.
So week 15. So then Nicky had to come in and play what? 2 games or 1?
2 games.
2 games.
And honestly, that year they were 13-3, so they won the last 2. But you can't even count to week 17 because that's a BS game. So because they had clinched it after week 16 because they were 13-3.
So Nicky helped clinch it.
He won 1 game.
I'm saying, okay, don't minimize it.
It doesn't
don't minimize
matter.
him.
All idiots
You
like
can't
you.
minimize the 14 before.
I'm not minimizing the 14 before. I'm just saying that this is what the karma is what you're getting right now.
Right.
Okay, because of how you treated him,
Okay, so
how
let
you
me
did
know,
him.
what
He
is-
brought you the victory, and then you basically
We talk
you
about this
compared the
every
girl,
show.
right? The girl, your girlfriend that made you the president, and now you're like, get out of here, beat it. I'm done. I want to get a new girl. Come on, that's foul. Like, come on. That's what you did to Nicky Foles, man. You know what I'm saying? So now, listen. He was built for Philly. He was built for it. Carson wasn't built for Philly.
Wow.
He came in the league. He broke. He did the same thing RG3 did. Super athletic. That really whatever. He uses athleticism. Injury happens. He ain't been the same.
But again,
He
it's
ain't
not-
been the same.
We talk about it every week, and we get back to it later in
Garbage.
the show. But there's other reasons too why the Eagles are struggling, and it doesn't all fall on Carson. And we'll get back and talk more about that right after this. In our next segment, tune in. We got our caller. Great show. Getting more into college basketball. You're watching Let's Get It. We'll be right back after this.